you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charity. If you're new here, you're watching BookedonCharity. Welcome. I hope that you consider subscribing to my channel down below. So in this video, I want to share with you guys a list of my most anticipated releases in January. I've done some Googles, and according to the people on the internet, some of the books that I'm going to talk about is what's releasing in January. I'm specifically focusing on books that I would want to read. So it's not an extended list of everything that's releasing. If you want to see a list of that, you can Google most anticipated book releases of 2022 and you'll find a whole bunch of lists. I know that Barnes & Noble has a list, Goodreads usually has a list, and I think there's another person called the Book List Queen or something like that, but there's many sources on the internet where you can find out which books are releasing in which month. So with that said, these are the books that I'm most interested in, and yes, my Christmas tree is still up. It will go down sometime this week. All right, so the first book that I am interested in is called Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and this book is by Su Lin Tan, who is an Asian author, and this book is part of a duology, and this duology is called the Celestial Kingdom duology. So it says that this is a captivating debut fantasy inspired by the legend of Shangxie, the Chinese moon goddess, I hope I pronounced that correctly, in which a young woman's quest to free her mother pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm. She grew up on the moon, and she's being accustomed to basically being alone, and she's unaware that she's being hidden from the feared celestial emperor who exiled her own mother for stealing the elixir of immortality. Sounds like a good story to me. The next book I'm interested in is called To Paradise, and this is by Hanya Hanakiyara. So this is the author who wrote A Little Life. A Little Life was a book that was trending all over Bookstagram and BookTube in 2021. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody wanted to read it. Everybody was crying about it. I have not read it because everybody was crying about it. That's literally the reason why I have not wanted to read A Little Life, because with what was happening in 2021 for me, mental-wise, I did not want to be in a space where I was crying. So I didn't read A Little Life. I think I would read it one day. I don't know if 2022 is going to be the year that I will read A Little Life, but it's not a priority for me. But this book, I think maybe a lot of people might be interested in, especially those that did read A Little Life. So it says that in an alternate version of 1893 America, New York is part of the Free States, where people may live and love whomever they please, or so it seems. The fragile young scion of a distinguished family resists betrothal to a worthy suitor, drawn to a charming music teacher of no means. In 1993, Manhattan besieged by the AIDS epidemic, a young Hawaiian man lives with his much older, wealthier partner, hiding his troubled childhood. So this is a novel, and it spans through 3 centuries in 3 different versions of the American experience. It's about lovers, family, loss, and the elusive promise of utopia. So it seems like it's going to be one of those very interesting books to read, so I look forward to it. Okay, the next book that I'm interested in is called The Starless Crown, and this is by James Rawlings. This is part of a series called Moonfalls, and it's the first book obviously in the series. And I think this book was pitched as for fans of To Sleep in a Starless Sea. I'm a fan of To Sleep in a Starless Sea, so definitely that's me. So this is a gifted student foretells an apocalypse. Her reward is a sentence of death. Fleeing into the unknown, she is drawn into a team of outcasts, a broken soldier who once again takes up the weapons he's forbidden to wield and carves a trail back home, a drunken prince who steps out of his beloved brother's shadow and claims a purpose of his own, an imprisoned thief who escapes the crushing dark and discovers a gleaming artifact, one that will ignite a power struggle across the globe. On the run, hunted by enemies old and new, they must learn to trust each other in order to survive in a world involved in strange, beautiful, and deadly ways, and uncover ancient secrets that hold the key to salvation. But with each passing moment, doom draws closer. Who will claim the Starless Crown? It sounds like a good book. It is 560 pages and it's actually published today. Today is the 4th of January. So it's definitely a book that I'm going to be looking out for. By the way, the other books, To Paradise by Hania, releases on the 11th of January and it is 720 pages. That is a thick book. And Daughter of the Moon Goddess is also publishing on the 11th of January and it is 512 books. So these are kind of big books that are coming out in January. The fourth book that I'm interested in is Ashes of Gold. Ashes of Gold is a second book in the Wings of Ebony series, in which the first book is called Wings of Ebony. I've not read the book, the first book that is, and this book is, or the series is by J.L. So this Wings of Ebony is actually a duology, so this is the final book, and maybe I should read the synopsis of the first book so that you can kind of get an idea of what the series is about. So it says, make a way out of no way. It's just the way of life for Rue. But when her mother is shot dead on her doorstep, life for her and her younger sister changes forever. Rue's taken from her neighborhood by the father she never knew, forced to leave her little sister behind and whisked away to Gizon, a hidden island of magic wielders. Rue is the only half god, half human there, where leaders protect their magical powers at all costs and thrive on human suffering. Miserable and desperate to see her sister on the anniversary of their mother's death, Rue breaks Gizon's sacred do not leave law and returns to Houston, only to discover that black kids are being forced into crime and violence, and her sister Tasha is in danger of falling sway to the very forces that claimed her mother's life. So that is a synopsis of Wings of Ebony. So if you have not read it, I'm not gonna, spoil it by reading the synopsis of the second book. Ashes of Gold is being released on the 11th of January 2022. I'm not sure how many pages this book has. It's not listed here. By the way, I'm using Goodreads to get all the synopsis for you guys. So the next book is called Reckless Girls, and this is by Rachel Hawkins, and it's pitched as a gothic suspense set on an isolated Pacific island with a dark history. And this is for fans of Lucy Foley and Ruth Ware. I have not read anything from either of these authors, but I am interested in the synopsis of this one. So it says, when Lux McAllister and her boyfriend Nico, not Niku in Afrikaans, are hired to sail two women to a remote island in the South Pacific, it seems like the opportunity of a lifetime. Stuck in a dead-end job in Hawaii and longing to travel the world after a family tragedy, Lux is eager to climb on board the Susanna and set out on an adventure. She's also quick to bond with her passengers, college best friends Brittany and Amma. The two women say they want to travel off to the beaten path, but like Lux, they may have other reasons to be seeking an escape. So it seems like something happens on this island, and I don't know if both girls die or what the story is, but the synopsis on Goodreads, it's way too long, and I feel like it's probably going to spoil the book at the end of the day. But this book is releasing today, and it is 320 pages. So the next book is a sci-fi called Goliath, and this is by Tochi Onyebuchi. So this says, in the 2050s, Earth has begun to empty. Those with the means and the privilege have departed to great cities of the United States for the more comfortable confines of space colonies. Those left behind salvage what they can from the collapsing infrastructure. As they eke out of existence, their neighborhoods are being cannibalized brick by brick. Their houses are sent to the colonies. What was once a home, now a quaint reminder of the colonists of the world that they wrecked. So this book is releasing on the 25th of January, and it is 336 pages long. So the next book is called Echoes and Empires, and this is by Morgan Rhodes. This is part of the Echoes and Empire series, and this is the first book in the series. So this says a snarky 17-year-old must team up with an enigmatic criminal to cure herself of dangerous forbidden magic in the first book of a new fantasy duology from Morgan Rhodes. So this is the best-selling author of the Fallen Kingdom series. I have not read that series yet. So Mrs. Jocelyn Drake knows only 3 things about magic. It's rare, illegal, and always deadly. So when she's caught up in a robbery gone wrong at the Queen's Gala and infected by a dangerous piece of magic, one that allows her to step into the memories of an infamously evil warlock, she finds herself living the worst nightmare. Joss needs the magic removed before it corrupts her soul and kills her. But in Ironport, the cost of doing magic is death, and seeking help might mean scheduling her own execution. There's no one she can trust. This sounds really, really interesting. I am looking forward to this book. It is releasing today, and it is 400 pages long. The next book is also part of a duology. There's actually a lot of duologies here. And it is called The Ivory Key, which is part of the Ivory Key duology. This is the first book, and this is by Akshaya Raman. So it says, magic, a prized resource, is the only thing between peace and war. When magic runs out, 4 estranged royal siblings must find a new source before their country is swallowed by invading forces. The first in an Indian-inspired duology. Veer is desperate to get out of her mother's shadow and establish her legacy as a revered queen of Ashoka. But with the country's only quarry running out of magic, a precious resource that has kept Ashoka safe from conflict, she can barely protect her citizens from the looming threat of war. And if her enemies discover this, they will stop at nothing to seize the last of the magic. Sounds very interesting, and I like that it's Indian inspired. I have not read any fantasies that are Indian inspired, so it's nice to have a bit of diversity. This book is 384 pages and is published today. There's a lot of books that are actually being published today. The next book is called Engines of Empire, and this is by R.S. Ford. This is the first book in a series called The Age of Uprising, and this is an epic adult fantasy. So this epic fantasy tells the tales of clashing guilds, magic-fueled machines, intrigued revolution, and the one family that stands between an empire's salvation and destruction. The nation of Turin is run on the power of industry, and industry is run by the guilds. Chief among them are the Hawkspurs, and their responsibility is to keep the gears of the empire running. It's exactly why matriarch Rosamond Hawkspur sends each of their heirs to the far reaches of the nation. So this kind of almost sounds like Mortal Engines or Mortal Machines. What is the name of that? I forgot the name of that book, series, movie, but I think it's called Mortal Engines. But yeah, this book is 624 pages long, and it is getting published on the 18th of January. All these publication dates are expected publication dates, but sometimes you know that there's delays or whatever the case may be, and it might get pushed out. So these are the dates that are available right now. So yeah. The final book that I have on my most anticipated reads is called The Amber Crown, and this is by J.C. Bedford. So this is a new epic fantasy. 3 societal outcasts must work together to fulfill the orders of a dead king's ghost or risk their nation falling to a tyrant. This book is 480 pages and it is expected to release on the 11th of January, and it sounds like a great time. That is it. I had 2, 4, 6, 8. I had 10 books that I am interested in releasing. 8 of them, I believe, no, 7 of them were fantasies. 1 was a sci-fi, 1 was a general fiction, and the other was a gothic suspense thriller. But I'm interested in these books. I don't know if I'll get all of these books in this year. We hope so, but I would like if publishers could bless a girl with a couple of books, because brand new books are expensive. I cannot afford to buy every single book that's here. I still have not bought the books that were on my anticipated list last year, so I'm working through it slowly. When I get to it, I get to it. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next one. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Bye.